Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tech Expert Hour webinar. My name is Jessica Harrison, Marketing Specialist at Fujitsu Caribbean. In this session, we are excited to showcase how we can help you reduce the number of resources required to manage your security program and monitor evolving threats. Now, before we get into it, we have a bit of housekeeping matters. Please bear in mind that this session is being recorded. The duration is 1 hour, inclusive of the time allotted for question and answers. All dial-in participants are muted to minimize interruptions. Questions can be submitted via GoToWebinar questions taskbar at any point in time, and we will address them at the end. You will get access to the slides and a recording of this presentation after we conclude today's webinar. Now over to our presenter, Andrew Dixon.
Thanks, Jessica. Good morning, all. And thanks for joining us as we give an overview of two of our managed security services delivered by our security operations team. Today, we operate in an environment that is constantly threatened by cyber attacks. Increasingly, attackers are now performing multi-stage incursions that exploit vulnerabilities, social engineering, data theft, and spear phishing techniques to create a persistent threat that is advanced, zero-day, and targeted. With over 1 million new pieces of malware being created daily, people, process, and technology must now come together in order to protect individuals and organizations from cyber attacks. Detecting and containing these advanced threats requires a coordinated approach that utilizes multi-layer countermeasure solutions to create a unified, proactive, and vigilant approach that provides security controls at all levels. Visibility is key to preventing, detecting, and containing a security threat such without complete visibility, harmful threats are left unchallenged. True. This has forced many of us into major digital transformation projects. However, we have to be aware of the balance we must strike with security as we navigate through these disruptions to our industries and businesses. As we transform, we increase the attack surface, and more we are seeing an increase of cyber threats along with our rapid adoption of new technologies like IoT, hybrid IT, and multi-cloud. In responding to this challenge, Fujitsu has adopted an intelligent-led approach for security. We believe robust management of the cybersecurity platform is critical, but it's not enough. You need to have a comprehensive visibility of events from all systems, which you analyze to identify threats. You need to routinely scan your systems to identify vulnerabilities as early as possible. You need to gain external intelligence to develop a perspective on the external threat context and hence guide your threat assessment and planning. And you need to always know what your security posture is. We achieve this with a multi-layered approach to security. We start with the 4 outcomes that you, our customers, have told us matters the most. Visibility and context, where you need us to provide visibility of what is going on and to put it into context. Advice and innovation, where you look to us to provide you with the advice on best practice and to stimulate innovation to help you drive your own business. Rigor and intelligence, you then demand that the service is being provided with rigor and that intelligence is being applied when assessing the findings and setting actions. Then there's vision and improvement, where you expect us to know what is coming and to have vision and to make improvements to the way we work. We deliver a suite of managed services from our Security Operations Center, to allow us to manage our customer systems better. We then enhance this with our advanced threat services, such as threat analytics, where we collate and analyze events from multiple systems, vulnerability management, where we probe assets and their configurations to identify weaknesses, threat intelligence, where we track external feeds to give early indications of our customers becoming potential threats. We then have our threat response, where we help our customers to plan how to react effectively in the event of a breach or potential breach. It is ultimately how an organization reacts and remediates that determines whether their reputation is kept intact and how they are judged to have responded correctly. Our consulting services come in three main forms: strategic, to help customers attain or quantify the gap of things like PCI, ISO, GDPR; technical, to deploy, design, update customers' own cyber platforms; and discrete consulting services for specific cyber engagements. We then wrap all this up with our information security management layer to guide you or customers on best practice, drive continuous improvement, and ensure your cybersecurity posture is understood and actively reviewed. So what makes us different? For one, we cover the entire IT lifecycle. We believe in forming strong customer partnerships. We have a strong portfolio made up of best-of-breed solutions from tier one partners, and we've been doing it for over 40 years. So what are the services we offer? We offer comprehensive protection across the enterprise, including identity and access management, infrastructure protection, data protection, threat and vulnerability management, where our managed security services identify potential risk, mitigate any immediate impact, and prevent subsequent attacks from happening. These managed services, made up of core and optional components, enables our own computer security incident response team framework. They align to the phases of the cyber kill chain and allows our identify, detect and hunt, and respond teams to work cohesively out of our security operations center to deliver the best value in cyber threat intelligence. These security operations centers, at the current count of 8, are strategically located globally to address any concerns of data sovereignty, as well as to provide options for disaster recovery locations. So let's have a look at some of the services offered from our SOCs. But before we do, can we do a quick poll on your firewall usage today? Jessica, can you give us our first poll?
Okay, how many security solutions, for example, the firewall, IPS, IDS, VPN, web filter, etc., do you use in your network today?
I will give it a few more seconds. Okay, let's see what we have. Can you close the poll at this time? Okay. And I will see the results. Okay. All right. Good. Thanks, Jessica. Very interesting information. But basically, you're confirming what we're going into now. The threat landscape is evolving with anything now connectable to a wired, wireless, Bluetooth, or mobile network susceptible to an attack. Point-in-time products that operate in complete isolation only limit the angle of attack. Unifying multiple products into an integrated solution enables an automated approach to defend and centralize visibility across the organization and increase return on investment. Once upon a time, our security solutions were very simple as we had discrete components for each problem being solved. Our challenge was only how to effectively integrate our firewalls with our IPS, IDS, or web filtering and VPN without disrupting our users. This challenge has resulted in our firewalls evolving into what they are today, which is unified threat management appliances now capable of routing, switching, SD-WAN, in addition to standard security services such as firewall, antivirus, sandboxing, etc., just by changing the license enabled on the appliance. All these advanced capabilities, however, now means that you need to constantly train your system administrators on how to use these new features effectively. Or you could take advantage of our managed firewall service, where we take the responsibility for the design, configuration, and ongoing monitoring and management of your firewall. Our managed service consists of two levels: monitor, where we focus on operational availability. This involves a separate enterprise monitoring toolset, externally monitoring the platform, and in the event of failure, escalating the service event via our service desk ticketing system in order to engage the appropriate resolver group. And manage, where we focus on keeping the lights on by not only providing professional service to make the configuration changes, but also to review the event logs and make proactive changes to optimize its performance. Most of you don't just have firewalls in your environment anymore, as you may utilize several security solutions to help your security posture. How do you keep on top of all the logs for these solutions, especially now when both our users and the systems they are using are located in multiple places? Before I describe our next offering, I have one more poll question for you, Jessica.
How do you manage your event logs today? Do you, one, store it on your respective platforms? Two, central log server, for example, Siglog? Three, we currently use SIEM service? Or four, you don't manage the logs at all?
I will give that one a few seconds again. All right. I think that's a good capture. Good. Thanks, Jessica. Very interesting with the spread of results for what we do with logs today. Very interesting scenario as we add more eyes to our security solutions in our environment. So organizations are facing an ever-increasing challenge when it comes to keeping on top of management activities. Keeping track of systems and the important information that these systems produce is a real headache. Couple that with risk management activities and ongoing compliance tasks can turn this into a problematic chore for an organization to keep on top of. Using a Siem service to join the dots between disparate systems and the data that they produce can enable organizations to take control over their risk and compliance obligations, simplify risk decisions, reducing planning horizons, and identify what is important. Most Siem platforms operate in a similar manner. Data is collected, correlated, and processed to detect events of interest. The processed data is analyzed for potential risk using machine learning techniques, have a good understanding of the devices that are being monitored to reduce false positives and to ensure the most relevant risks are identified. Some also have the option to further enhance that data with geolocation information, blacklists, results from vulnerability scans, and threat intelligence feeds to provide more context and reduce false positives even further. A Siem service, however, is more than a log aggregation tool. Having Siem tools in the environment acting in isolation and cannot correlate information from multiple business services are more likely to detect a higher degree of false positive events due to lack of context. Responding to events by triaging and investigation is vital, as this ensures ongoing tuning and the correct classification of service impacting security incidents. Now, compliance obligations can be easily reported on, measured, and responded to. Our Siem service covers two main categories: Siem as a service, where we provide you access to our hosted platform, and Siem on-prem, where we utilize your existing platform. Both options allows your security event logs to be collected, correlated, and analyzed for potential threats relevant to your environment. Now that we are clear on the need for a Siem and the services required to manage it, what next? Fujitsu Siem services offer three service options: implement, detect, and respond. Implement, where we provide the services and expertise to stand up your platform. Detect, where we utilize the platform capabilities by setting up event packs or rule books to cover a range of compliance requirements and attack scenarios. We then forward these incidents to a designated ticketing system for your attention. If you don't have your own SOC or the capability to manage the output of a Siem, then our Respond Managed service can be utilized. Our highly trained and certified SOC analysts will perform the triaging, incident classification and management, reporting, and escalation to deliver a holistic Siem service, providing you the business benefits such as freeing up important IT staff to undertake more proactive roles in support of the business, increasing the speed at which data is analyzed, events of interest are identified and responded to, thus reducing the time to detect threats. Last but not least, streamlining the delivery of the audit process in support of ongoing compliance obligations to meet internal controls, statutory or regulatory obligations. Whether you're just starting out on your journey with Siem services or already on the road, Fujitsu Siem services can help you. From a technology perspective, if you don't want the pain of acquiring a Siem system, we can provide you access to our own Siem as a service. If an as a service model doesn't work for you, then we can build and deliver your own on-premise equipment in the traditional delivery model. Or alternatively, we can build and integrate a hybrid model specifically to meet your requirements. So we have now covered both offerings, and we're ready to take any questions you might have. I'll ask Jessica to help us with that process. Jessica, the floor is open and over to you.
Okay, so as Andrew said, it is now time for everyone's favorite part, question and answer. There is a question bar to the right or to the left of your screen. Please put your questions there. Whatever the questions may be, we're waiting on them. We'll just allow for another minute for the questions to come in.
Yes, and while we're getting the questions, I'll just add that if anyone is actually interested in seeing any of these services in their own environment, just feel free to reach out and we can arrange a follow-up session where we can look to see what is required for you to give it a test run and kick the tires.
Okay. Can I choose the location for my event logs under your SIEM as a service offering?
Okay, so some customers have regulatory or compliance requirements where they must store their logs at their location or at some location designated safe. How the solution works, the Siem as a service, the hybrid model allows us to collect the logs and store it at your location that you require or you request us to, but yet still we will receive the events and we will act on the events and create the right incidents and the right response accordingly. So yes, in a short answer, yes, you can choose the location of where the logs are stored. It doesn't have to be in our location all the time.
Okay, thank you
Hope
for
that
that.
answers the question.
Second question. Are there any restrictions to the security solutions that can be managed by your SIEM service?
Okay, that's a good one. Yannick, I will ask you to take that one. And
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Yannick. All right, so in response to the question, there are no restrictions currently. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys will have your own particular security solutions, whether there are firewalls or switches or just different devices that you have on your network. The Siem can accommodate the logs and the events from them, correlate them so that you would have visibility into what is going on in your environment. So there's no restrictions per se, because as I said, the Siem is more an agnostic. So whether it is from different vendors, the Siem has the ability to correlate that information so that you would actually see what is going on. Because at the end of the day, you know, threats, looking at the threats and events in your environment is always good, so that you can know the posture, your security posture, and be able to act thereof. So, I mean, to answer the question, no.
all right, thanks, Yannick. And just to add, the importance of knowing the device that the logs are coming from is key, because that's how we can classify an event as an actionable incident, because the type of device is actually known. The platforms that we support today have a wide range of security vendors that are supported, and I've yet to see one that is not on the list for what is out there today. Thanks, Jessica. and Yannick.
All right, there are no other questions. Anything else you'd like to add, Andrew?
Just to emphasize or reiterate the point that we are open for queries. If you can't think of a question now, feel free to reach out and you can ask it directly. Again, if you are interested to see how best you can utilize our services in your environment, again, feel free to reach out and we'll have the right persons go through your scenario with you. That's it for me, Jessica.
Okay.
And I
Thank
think I would
you.
just,
Go ahead.
sorry, yeah, I just want to add that, just to add that at the end of the day, you know, each person's organization is different, and each organization has different risks and threat levels that are associated with it. And our security offering can help to align the business goals and requirements so that, I mean, at the end of the day, we can form like a strategic path to securing their environment. So whether it is through our managed security, that, I mean, we are basically the hands on the ground, and then we will work with you. And then, as I said, if there are any events, logs that is happening, we can assist with the correlation of those to basically identify anything. So we're just here. I mean, just feel free to call us or let us know. And that's just my two piece.
Okay, I think we have one more question coming. What is the price range from the most basic to the most comprehensive package?
So the price range is based on the environment. The price range for which service though, because both services have their own price range. So that's the first question. So if we assume the price range, if we're referring to Siem, the price range is based on the number of devices that they are generating logs, the type of devices that are generating logs, and the applications that these devices are running. So we need to have further discussion to understand what your dynamics are, and then we'll be able to get some more details. But just to give an idea of what actually will affect the price.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for the questions. It was a pleasure showcasing how we can help. Let us know if you are interested in follow-up consultation or free POC. Thank you so much for your participation. Upon exiting the event, there will be a pop-up survey for you to complete. We're going to ask that you complete that. And thank you so much, Yannick and Andrew.
Thanks all.